Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to be making the first of my MOC carriages for my express passenger train. Now, the most contentious part of this new express passenger train, other than the locomotive, is arguably the double doors halfway down each of the passenger carriages, how they open outwards, and the fact that they are at an unusual height compared with previous trains. And I know my audience is very much split on whether they like them or not. And just to demonstrate that height issue, essentially with the platform at the right height for every other passenger train in my city, this one's doors open outwards onto the edge of the platform, and well, minifigures are going to find it quite hard to get inside. So there are many ways in which we can fix this problem. One is to raise those central doors up a little bit out of that dual level base, but I think that would be a real shame because it is that dual level that really characterizes these carriages and makes them different from all of the previous ones. So I do really want to keep that feature. Now we could move the doors onto the ends as per more usual carriages, and I think that's a good solution. But again, it does actually pose the question, well, why on earth is this on a split level base then if you've got the whole carriage on one level? So I think this therefore is screaming out at me to make me a double height carriage with an upper deck and a lower deck with the doors on the end, and you go down some steps into the sunken lower level and up some brand new steps into the upper level. So that is what we're going to do today. And if successful after doing the first one, then maybe we could make the entire train a double-decker train, because, well, I've always wanted to do that with one of my trains, and essentially every time I got one of the old 6x34 split level bases, I'd only have one and I'd end up using it for a cargo wagon like this wonderful shunter transport or this very unrealistic T-Rex fossil transport. So it's really nice with this set, because we get those split level bases as standard, that I'll be able to make all of my carriages double decker if it works well on the first one. So I suggest that first one is where we start, and I'll take these down to the build desk. Now, I have made double-decker carriages before for all of the previous passenger trains that I've owned, and this one I want to do, well, a little bit different, just like I've kept the variation in those as well. But the general theme will be the same. The plan is, as I said, to move the doors to the ends of the carriages, and then extend this bit right to there so we get as much bottom floor as possible, and then put on a top floor which will also be kind of glass and therefore like an observation car. So this could work, as I'm hoping it will, for the entire length of the train, one after the other, or just as a really sort of special touristy sort of car all on its own. So I think the first thing I need to do is to break down one of these, and I'm actually going to break down the buffet car just so I've got it as a direct comparison, the new one with this, and then I can get building, because we do need some of the parts from this set as well. Alright, well, these are all the pieces that we're going to be using today, in addition to those that are found in a standard carriage of the original set, and I just thought I'd show them all visually very quickly, as well as including all of their details and part numbers and so on in the description of this video, just in case you want to do this build at home or something similar, then you can. Good. Okay, let's get started. So I've stripped down the donor carriage almost to the bottom. I've still got these 1x16 bricks along the very base, and I will be reusing quite a few parts from that donor set, including these 1x2 slopes in dark bluish grey, but they have moved towards the outside to give us the most sort of capacity on the inside. And then I'm going to be adding some white plates, because absolutely every plate height is valuable in this if we want to have the whole thing in proportion and have the passengers on both decks kind of looking out at the right height and so on through the windows. So there's that. Now we need to start thinking about the doors already, really. There's a few different ways we can do this, and the most obvious is to use official train doors, which don't come in many colours and aren't the easiest things to get hold of, but essentially that would work like that. The problem here is that they're very big. They wouldn't continue the sort of white and lime-coloured stripe on them, of course, and they even have the ability to kind of fly open sometimes in transit and take out obstacles or even cause a derailment, which I really don't want in my city. So I'm going to do something a lot more subtle. Now, I'm not going to do it as subtle as you get in some of the other official train builds, where you kind of have to imagine that there is a door there. You just can't see it. It's that subtle. It's impossible to tell, and it's incredibly hard to get open, of course. So I think there's somewhere in the middle. Again, it won't open, but then Lego doors on cars and trucks and all sorts of things don't always open either. And that is a technique that I used on my flying Knotsman train. This is the baggage car, and it's just to set them back half a stud and give them a handle and so on. And although that doesn't move, you could actually make it move by incorporating a whole mechanism on here with bar pieces and robot arms and all the rest of it. But I think that's enough. I think it really gives you the idea that there is a door there, kind of like this one is a door that doesn't open as well, without, getting in the way and falling open unnecessarily. So that's what we're going to be doing here. So I'm going to basically put in some jumper plates at each end to represent where those doors are going, and they'll be quite narrow at 2 studs wide, and that means that then I can kind of fill in the gap between what we're doing and where the doors are going to go with bricks. And here comes the lime stripe, of course, and we'll want doors on the other 2 corners as well. Now for the insides, we've got this lower level, and before people had to presumably kind of leap down this or crawl up it or something like that. Well, I want to make it a bit better than that and just have a couple of inverted slopes, kind of 2 like that to create some steps, and 2 on the other side kind of diagonally opposite to create some steps there. And then I can include a table and chairs as per the original on the lower deck, right next to all these windows that we will be putting in. And next to that, I'm just going to put one of those luggage racks as well that I extracted from the donor set. And there isn't a huge amount of space in here, in that you're going to have to come down the steps and pretty much shimmy around all of this. And there's only really room for a single seat on the other side, but I kind of figure that will make it look a lot bigger if we've got seats both on the left and the right as it's sort of going around. So that's my lower interior. And obviously the potential to do all sorts of buffet cars and all sorts of stuff like that is huge, but this is just my basic carriage so far. Then for the ends, I've just ripped them all off in one piece from the donor vehicle just to go straight on, because I want them to be the same, and I really liked those. So that's looking pretty good. So now I can start adding in all of the glass, both on this lower level, where it looks like we need 5 on each side. I'll just do one side for now. And I think that looks about the right height with what will be the passengers there. And then when we've done the door, we'll need a arch for supporting the roof section and a couple of 1x1 bricks to separate that from the windows. And then we'll have another 2 on each side here before we get into the sort of stairs going up, hidden by the next section. So I'm going to finish off all of that, and then we can focus on building our actual door. All right, all done. And I've just added some 1x3, 1x10 and 1x3 plates along the top there, and a 1x8 tile, the reason for which will become apparent soon. Looking good. So now I need to add a door, and this is my build for it. And it's quite complicated in a sense, and that's just because it has to include all of these small pieces just so we can continue what I think is the most important element here, which is all of the colouring and the stripes and so on. So we've got lots of 1x2 plates and a handle, then a plain style window, which I think looks a lot better from a door and sort of differentiates it from the rest. And I think you'll agree that just looks, well, very much like a door, but seamless with the stripes, just recessed as it is by that half stud distance. Yeah, so I think that looks really good. Now, you could use different handles if you wanted. When I build one of these, I have been using one of these modified plates here that are very obvious from a distance that it's a handle, but you could use something like a roller skate piece or something like that, which means the handle will just pop out just a tiny bit. And if black is too subtle, then you could use grey or even silver as well. And I think that is a good look, but I quite like it when it's a lot more prominent with these sorts of pieces. So I'm going to add the 1x1, the plain window, 1x2, and then the jumper plate on the top. And that's important because it needs to connect with what's going on next, of course. So therefore I can add the other ones onto the other side. And it doesn't look too bad from the inside. I mean, my priority is that it looks good from the outside, but it's, yeah, not too bad at all, really. And you could play around with making these bottom jumper plates look silver or something like that if you wanted. But I think that really is good how it continues the colouring all the way along. Good, right, so the next section is just to fill in these little bits of wall here. And I'm going to start using more of these arch pieces just because I'm going to have to support the second floor. So I'm going to have one there, and the same on the other side. And then I've kind of got a bit of wall pre-built, which has just got some modified bricks in, 1x4 plate and 2 1x1 bricks as well. Now I don't want this whole expanse here to just be black, and I think it would look really boring if we had all of this area between the two floors solid one colour, but black's the only colour that it looks like it would be appropriate here. So I'm going to try and kind of make an interesting studs on the side sort of pattern, essentially, much like we've got on the locomotive with that arrow and all of the vents. And I think that will really break up the side and, well, create another bit of lime in between the top floor and the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do next. And I'll just add some 1x4 bricks into these gaps here before I move on. Awesome. Right, well, the next part is some steps up, and you'll just see those there. So we've got the steps going up from the lower level on the lower side as we look at it, and on the upper side we've got some going up to what will be our top deck. And that's just quite a simple build. 2 2x3s and a step, 2x2 and a 1x2 and a step, and then a brick with a step, just so they're nice and equally spaced. And then that one can go on the other side, and I've kind of done them diagonally set again. So there we go. I think that looks good. And then we come to bringing in the upper floor, and I'm just using 3 4x8 plates here, and you'll see I've started mounting brackets on to one side, and I'll do that now onto the other side, and they will form the beginning of that studs on the side build technique, like that. And it'll also add to the support because these bits will be connecting with those 1x8 tiles on the outside and all those arch pieces that we've put on there. So I can push that down onto the arches, and these bits are supported very firmly there. So we've got an absolutely rock solid, I can really push down on that upper floor, which is really nice. Isn't always the case with my previous build, so I think this one's even better. And we've got that lovely sort of sideways section there. So then we can kind of box that in using some 1x8 plates on both sides, like that. So we've got this little studs on the side kind of window here for some sort of pretty combination of tiles, I suppose. And what I've decided to do is use lots of quarter tiles to make a kind of rounded, almost logo type shape. And I'm going to break that up using some grill pieces. Now I had considered using lime grill pieces just to keep it all lime, but when I tried it on Digital Designer, I kind of like the look of the dark grey better. Also, it helps that I use dark grey because I don't really have enough of the lime ones anyway. So that can go in there and have a 2x4 tile in it as well. But even better than that, I thought might be to add a sticker on. So I've added this train logo sticker, which is actually from the 60197 sticker sheet. You'll see the missing one there. And I've got enough to do a whole train if I do make the whole thing double deckers. That's why I picked those ones. Now they are dark blue, but I defy you to tell that's dark blue to distance on lime. It looks black, so I think that looks really good. So basically I need to add sticker to the other one, but that will go studs on the side. Oh, like that. I think that looks really good. The fact we've got these tiny little bits next to the quarter circles as dents doesn't really matter, I don't think. And from any distance, it just blends in entirely. But Wow, yeah, I really like that. I haven't seen it in real life myself yet, so yeah, I'm quite impressed. But we'll have another lime stripe in a minute, so it'll look a lot more balanced. Cool. So I'm going to add the sticker to the other one, put that in, and then we can get on with the next level, with adding more seats onto that new platform, of course, the upper windows, and, well, tidying up the ends and so on. Cool. All right, so there we go. And if you don't have those stickers, it doesn't really matter. I think it'd still look good just as a lime sort of section of detail. And you can see I've put a passenger from the original set on the lower floor, looking out the window and looking very happy about it too. And I've also added this grey stripe, which is, well, the same as on the original, of course, before the lime one. So that's what we should do next. So on the ends, I'm just going to use this plate, like that. Then the long ones that come with the original, a 6 in the middle, long one and a curved one. And it'll all get pinned down firmly in a moment with the ends, which are pretty much recycled from the original set. So that is the whole sort of final roof section on each end. I've changed it so we've actually got a 4x4 plate in there, just so it's connecting a little bit better and providing a bit of strength on these ends. So I'm going to have a 2x4 plate and 1x4 tile there. Then I can reuse the wonderful speed signs that are from the inside of the original to go on the ends there, so everyone can see them, well, at least on the top deck anyway, like that. And then I can put these on like that. And that's really important if you did want to just have one of these carriages rather than a whole train's worth of them, because then the ends would very much tie in with, well, its neighbours essentially. So I think that's looking good. Then we can add 1x6 bricks to the 4 corners that remain. And then we can start putting in the windows as well for the upper deck and some passengers, and then focus on the central glass section of the roof as well. So I'm going to do the other side and add some passengers, but I think that being very central in that black section really shows what I was talking about earlier about how it would look really just like a wall of black if we didn't have something in there. Yeah, I'm loving that. That looks good. Cool. All right, looking good. So I've got the passengers in the top deck there, and I've even got the conductor going down the stairs. So that looks really good, actually. Transition, you can see her legs there through the window. That's a really good transition. I like that. Now I wanted to do this one different, as I said, from all my previous ones. And in those when I've done something quite similar, I've had this band of colour here, but I've decided on this one to do it quite differently and have only trans black bricks above the original black roof line, and I think that'll make it look really interesting. So therefore I'm having to use these 1x6 curved slopes in trans black, and they are available on Lego Bricks and Pieces, which is where I got mine. So yeah, quite readily available actually, even though they are quite a rare piece in the second-hand market. And I think that is a nice continuation of that window section. And then just to get all the heights right, we need to add in a 2x2 plate there and 2 of these corner tiles in black, just to make the connection absolutely seamless when we add on our wonderful end piece. Now these are probably the hardest part for this entire build to get your hands on. They're only available in the second-hand market via Bricklink or something like that. They're actually 3-part numbers that again are in the description of this video. And it's called Windscreen 8x6x2 curved. And if you are finding it difficult to get in your part of the world, then do check out sets like 7031 Helicopter from 2003 that have one, but it's stickered, so it's elsewhere in the catalogue. And there's a few examples from different sets over the years where that's the case, because you can always just peel off that sticker, of course, and then you are sorted. So that will connect on there and create that really pleasing angle and continue the glass dome going. And then I can start to add these 3x6 slopes like this straight on top of the windows without that extra plate level, which I think will make it look even better. And then just to give it some strength, I'm going to add some grille pieces, and I've decided on light grey just because I think they tie in with these bits here and kind of continue that colour scheme going along. And then because when I tried this on Digital Designer at least, it looked a bit repetitive having 6 of them there, I've decided just to mix it up and have a round printed piece. Again, the part numbers are in the description. They aren't that hard to get hold of. And I just thought I'd have one of those in the middle. But if you can't get your hands on that, then you can just use more of the square ones. So there we go. Oh, no, I haven't done the end bit there of the 2x2 and the triangle tiles. And that can go on there. 2 more of the grill pieces. And we're done. Ho, 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 ho. Oh, I like that. Yes, I think it looks even better without that little band of colour in there. I mean, there are different ways you can do those curved slopes, of course. You could just use that part in black, but then you would have quite a solid section here. You could also use the curved 1x4 slope and some plates underneath it, and that would allow you to even include another window on each side. But as I say, I wanted to vary mine a little bit from previous ones that I'd done for my city, so I really like that. But wow, yeah, I haven't seen this before, but it looks absolutely great in real life. I love the fact that we've continued the sort of end bits from other carriages still on the end, but got a very functional top floor, one that you can definitely see into and see everyone enjoying their journey. So that looks absolutely great. And I think what really makes it actually is this line bit that I was most unsure of on the side there next to these profile bricks. Yeah, I think it looks really good. So let's compare it with the original. There we go. So they definitely look like they belong together with that unbroken continuous double stripe along the top, the lime one with the white along the bottom. And, well, I think it has taken it to the next level, really, hasn't it? Those old, big, chunky doors just get really shown up against these very sort of streamlined ones with the plain window that just shows that they are a little bit different from everything else. Yeah, the handles might not be to your taste. You might prefer the roller skate method, but I quite like them being chunky like that. Yeah. So, grills on the top. Looking good. So I think the next thing to do, obviously, is to, well, include this in a city, have it going around and see how it looks there. But I like it a lot. I think it looks a lot more interesting than the original. And, well, what do you think? Do you think we could have an entire train made up of these? You know, I'm going to get the second set of 60337 so we can have a double-ended, dual pointy-ended train. So I will have to make 4 of these in total, do this conversion 4 times if it's going to be 100% double-decker. But you know what? I think it might be worth it. But do let me know what you think and whether you like this. Back in the Lego room, and there it is. Looking really good, I think. That splash of lime in the middle is much better than a pair of door handles, I think. Got the train logo on there. And a bit of shape. You see, it sort of echoes what's going on, but in reverse from the locomotive. I like that a great deal. And the glass in trans black goes really well with the black roofs, of course. And you can see right in there, we can still see all the passengers and even the conductor going down the stairs. So yeah, that is absolutely great. The light grey on the roof, the stripes continuing. Yeah, I really like that very much. So let's get this going around the city. I'm hoping it'll fit underneath all my obstacles. There was one. Here is another. We'll get a nice thud if it doesn't. That's why I'm going a bit slower, and partially so we can see it. There's obstacles behind there and through there, of course. And, oh, the bridge. That is very close indeed. But the carriage is looking great. I like it. In fact, I think I like it so much, I'm going to do the other one right away. Because, well, what's the use of having one carriage that's doors are at platform height when, well, the other one isn't? So, yeah, I'm going to take that single carriage one back down to the build desk and make a second. First there was one, then there were 2. So I'm just going to pop that on the tracks behind it. And then, ho ho ho! This is the start of a long entirely double-decker train. Oh yes, looking good. Let's find the next gap in the buildings. I think that's looking really good. That might have made my mind up for me, just doing that second one, whether I'm going to go 100% double-decker or not. As I said at the beginning, it's something that I've wanted to do for a while, an entirely double-decker train, but I just never had enough of the split bases. So this is just a gift from Lego, allowing that dream to be fulfilled. Wow. Yeah, it's really nice. I think my favourite bit has got to be that sort of curved lime section on the sides that breaks up that, well, what would be that incredibly large black expanse. So yeah, very good. I'll be very interested in what you think, or if you think I can make it even better somehow, do let me know. And this will be the first of many different amendments I plan to make to this train. Next time I think we'll probably be looking at the locomotive and even adding the other second set to this. So I'm really looking forward to that already. Well, as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, we'll be doing a brick haul. That'll be the one that should have been last week, but basically this train arrived, so that put everything in a different order. Then we'll do another mock build on Friday. And then I think next Monday we'll probably do the next mock carriage build for this train, because I'm just loving how it looks going around my city. So until all of that, see you! Oh yeah!